Well, welcome back. We're going to paint these sunflowers now in this terracotta pot. Right here next we've got California poppies there and then the sunflowers. These are Mattia poppies and they grow beautifully in California. Oh my gosh, going through some of the hills and when they're blooming they're just gorgeous. The flowers almost look like angels. With their skirts flowing out, just like here, you know, where they've got the center of the flower and then the petals go out. These are also called fried egg flowers, and you can see they resemble a fried egg, the yolk and the white of the egg, and just really fun flowers. But now I'm going to concentrate on the sunflowers. I've got all my paint mixed out, and this is a mixture of cadmium red light plus cadmium orange plus cadmium yellow medium plus a little alizarin crimson. This gives me my shadow colors for my sunflowers. Now this is a mixture of my cadmium yellow medium plus a little tiny bit of cadmium orange and a little bit of mud. My mud is 2 parts of ultramarine blue and 1 part of alizarin crimson. That just dulls the color just a little bit, so that yellow in the shadows is a little bit duller, or darker. The light is coming in from the right, so these here on the left are in the shadow of the geraniums and the flower box. I get my flowers in first. Now, this lighter yellow is my pure cadmium yellow medium. I'm going to let one of the blossoms just break up in front of the flower box. That helps to give depth to the painting. When you have elements coming in front of other elements, it's like the flowers in front of the door, this flower breaking over the edge of the door jamb there. That helps to give the feeling of depth. And in painting, we're working on a 2-dimensional surface, the canvas, and we want it to appear 3-dimensional. If you're painting, you know, impressionism or things that are representational, if you're doing abstracts, that doesn't matter. But the type of painting I do, depth is important. I'm going to let one of my sunflowers kind of break down here. Just come down. I'll have one there. And the sunflowers we see them at different angles. They're in a flower pot here, so you have to pay attention to the perspective of the flowers too. They'll be at different angles. Now I come back, my foliage color is, I have to remember, because what I'm using my foliage color is some of my mixture here from the California poppies that I've added more cadmium yellow medium into. But that mix was a mix of my phthalo blue plus cadmium orange plus white, and now I've added a little bit of the cadmium yellow medium into it. I'm going to let the leaf come down here behind the pot. In fact, I'm even going to make this darker. That's kind of in behind. And I work around the yellow. I paint my flowers first. I block those in first, and then do the green of the leaves. The reason I do that is so that as I'm painting the leaves, let me start over, I get tongue twisted here. Paint the flowers first so that my color stays really nice and crisp and clean. If I were to paint the leaves first and then come back and paint the flowers, my brush would pick up some of that green and dirty the flower color. There are ways to come back and paint the flower color over the green, which I will show you in just a second. But to get my initial block in, I do the flowers first and then paint the greens around the flowers to help shape them. I'm going to let a little leaf come here. These leaves will be a little darker because they're in shadow. I'm going to let one, no, I'm going to leave that blossom there. I'm not going to let a leaf break in behind it. Up here I'm going to have a leaf coming out there. Now I have saved my wall color, so I can come back in here. I want to add a little bit of the wall showing through these leaves, so I can come back in and just add that in. And then I'm going to make this leaf a little darker so that we can see it against the wall. Going to do a little bit more of my wall color in here. Nope. Got a little bit of lighter color into that. There we go. Now I want this, I've got a flower here, I want a flower here. So I have to carefully lay that color on top of the green. Let's see what happens. See how my brush picks up that green? I put it in the front of the white so you can see it. That's what would happen if I painted all of my leaves first and then painted my yellow. So what I'm doing is I'm carefully, I lay the paint on top of the green so that it doesn't get dirty. You have to have a very soft touch to lay that paint on there. Okay, now we've got the initial color blocked in. Now I'm taking a mixture of my mud plus liquid, and I'm going to make the centers of the sunflowers. If I can just brace my hand against the canvas here, the unpainted part. This white part is my frame. I've taped over it with blue to just protect it and keep it clean. When I'm finished painting, I will peel that off. This is a frame that Jack designed for us, and it's my Senkarik signature frame, Senkarik white signature frame. Add my centers in here, and it's amazing how just doing this, these immediately begin to look like sunflowers. But you can see how the flowers that are turned to the side, that disc center is more oval. This one's coming a little more forward, so we'll see more of the center of that. Just add these in. And it doesn't matter if the brush picks up some of that yellow and makes the center lighter. In fact, on these it's really great because those are getting more sunlight. So this one's going to be a little more disc shaped. This one is turned. Now I'm taking a mixture of, let me make it here, cadmium lemon or Hansa yellow. That's different brands call it different things. Da Vinci Paint calls it Hansa yellow. The Winton calls it cadmium lemon. And I'm adding a little bit of my cadmium yellow medium into that. And that's going to be my highlights for my blossoms, for the petals that are touched by the sunlight. So now we're going to come in and add those. You can see I can just use the corner of that brush to make those fine strokes. This is called a bright brush. It's a square tip on it. And I really prefer this because I can use the flat side to make a broad stroke, or I can use the corners to make finer strokes. And I'm just laying that paint on there. Again, I don't want to pick up the green, so I have to be very careful. Now this is going to get a little light there, but then it's as the flowers go around, then they become more in shadow. So I start using some of my darker yellows and oranges here. And this one was even reaching down. Now the petals on this side will catch a little bit of lighter, and they break out over the center. So you can just see this, you have to be very light with your touch to add these petals in without getting the green, and then you have to keep your brush clean. The secret to really pretty, crisp, bright colors on your canvas is a clean brush. That helps keep your colors clean. Now this is going to get a little more sunlight here on this one. Breaks in front of that flower box. And this is going to get a little more light. I made that stroke a little too big, so I can come back with a smaller brush and some of my wall color, and just I pull from the wall into the flower, so I don't pull my flower color into the wall, if that makes sense. I just come back toward the flower. I'm also going to bring a shadow down here, where this leaf is making a shadow. I'm going to add a little white to my leaf color because I want some highlight in here. Here we've got our highlights on our leaves. One's going to get a little bit. Those in the back, I'm going to let them stay darker. Do a little light right there. And then this one's going to get just a touch of light right there. Put my stems in, and that'll be our sunflowers. I really appreciate you watching my YouTube videos. I just really, all your wonderful comments, I thank you for that. I appreciate the encouragement. And speaking of encouragement, be a cheerleader for somebody today. You know, just give them the encouragement and the help and the attaboys to just continue on. We all need that. We all need cheerleaders in our lives. So just take a moment and give somebody some moral support. This needs a little more light on it, just so we see that. Yeah. So thank you again. Please visit my blog. I show the complete step-by-step process of this painting on the blog. The link is in the description below. It's also on the final frame of my video. So you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and thank you again for watching my videos.